Good morning. Okay, let's get going here. Wrong screen. All right, so we expected it to be kind of a slow day yesterday, and it was. It was just consolidating after the move down. Typical after we have a couple of moves like that, starting with the Nasdaq futures here. We talked about the break in the uptrend by closing below the prior pivot low PL. And the next little support was right there. So it had traveled a far distance, uh, greater than 100% retracement into an area of support. Typical, reaction is a slowing in momentum. And we got it. Small candle body. And so now today, starting out slow again. Just to reiterate yesterday, this area here, looking to the left, and we talked about this little head and shoulders kind of bottom that was forming there, and it really didn't get far from there. Things are just chopping around. So something we spoke about in the green room yesterday afternoon was, all right, this is down where it is. And depending on the index that you're looking at, even though this is violated support, it's down far enough where buyers should want to step up and have some kind of a counter trend rally. So yesterday we talked about the fact that, hey, we don't know one day from another which way things might go, but because it was a end of day base, just a sideways consolidation, if it was to gap down, that could potentially fuel more to the downside, because yesterday being a consolidation day, kind of a resting day. However, if it was to get back above that consolidation, well, there's a void above and we could have a little bit of a rally day. Well, we're not breaking one way or the other today. So we're back to SOH, or sitting on hands as far as the markets go, to see which way it might go, with some momentum. And, just based on the fact that it's moved as far down as it has, I think there's a higher probability to move up a more significant amount, not that it would turn this around, than it would be to move down. So I'm skeptical of breakdowns here, potentially being breakdown failures. What we want to see is kind of this kind of price action if we're going to think about breakdown failure. So this is a good thing as far as the bearish point of view, in that it popped up above this consolidation and it came right back in again. So sellers, it just didn't get to any significant resistance, but this was rejected, and now it came back down and it hit the pivot low, and that's just hanging here, just going nowhere. So that's where we are, basically marking time, going nowhere. And we've got this whatever Fed talk, I think this afternoon, who's ever talking. So we'll see how that has to unfold. So there's probably just hesitancy as to taking the markets one way or the other. But if it gets above here, it should go up to some amount. Again, even to the halfway mark of that bar, looking at the futures. Looking at the S&Ps, it's similar. It didn't break a pivot, but the depth of retracement is another attribute of analyzing or assessing a trend, strength, or the lack thereof. And so when prices fall vertically, as these did, and the depth of retracement to the prior area that prices moved up from, that is bearish price action. Now, when it gets here to this destination, it's like, okay, what's going to happen? Right? Traders, institutions don't want to sell at support. Maybe some want to buy, of course, and as it chops around here, but we've got little narrow range bars here. So momentum just slowed there was no real capitulation here. Yeah, it went down with some momentum here because there was nothing to stop it. But what we like to see is, see this rejection bar right here? What we would want to see, like today, maybe they would take this and flip it upside down, and there'd be a rejection bar here, and that would be a decent pattern for some kind of a counter trend move. Now, that being said, remember our conversation that started on Monday of, look, prices coming down where they are, they rally a bit and form a head and shoulders top. So that, some type of a rally, which makes sense here. And the idea that it wouldn't get very far because of the angle of retracement and the depth of retracement, it gets a little ways up, forms some kind of a reversal, and, maybe down here. So just keep that in mind. But that'll take days to form, but that's just the thought as to what this pattern could evolve into. More bearishly, it would just go sideways here, get a rejection bar, and break down. But again, right now we're just looking at slowing momentum in an area of support with some news that might, whatever might be said. So the expectation for today was not expecting too much. All right, let me go back here. All right. So spiders on support, gap up, gap down. Might jiggle around here a bit. Downside is, I suspect, to be limited with intraday, whatever, it moves up or down. But right now it's basically unchanged, give or take. So SPX. So we got a bias that we expect things aren't going to move around a heck of a lot here today. So where does that put us? All right, we know it's here. And if there's juice at 41.90, maybe there is now. I've got written down 41.85, but if there's 90, that's better. And 40.70 is what I got on the downside. So exactly what McGraw and Jacob are suggesting. So let's just see where that is. Because we always look, what's to the left? How far would it have to travel to get to 40.70? And so this was that low marked Monday. I showed this to you, this low. And so it would be below that area. And you can see my little numbers there, 40.70, give or take, would be below that. So it would have to travel pretty far to get down there. I think that's safe. And 41.90, that's got to get above yesterday's high. Factory work says that's the first reference point of resistance. And going up to 41.90, where does that put you? Near the top of that bar. I would say with this pattern, I don't know what the motivation would be for it to go there, other than it's down a bunch. That's within the realm of possibilities, after a consolidation day to get up there. I think the downside is a no-brainer. I think the upside is decent probability. So, and just for those, you can see what the juice is there. 41.90. Well, it's not a lot, and that's why I had written down 85, but it's safer for sure. So you just do 30 wide or whatever. Yeah. And then 40.70. It's a little bit more. So there you go. But look, those of you that are tracking these suggestions that we're doing in the morning, Jacob offers, McGraw offers, they give some input as far as gamma levels and so on. And looking at the technicals here, we haven't had anything tag us or get close. And you don't have to hold these to the end of the day. And intraday, I recommended one yesterday as the S&Ps broke the low of the day, and that was like perfect. It broke the low of the day and just was right here, and just came right back up and crushed it. Yep. It was here, like I just exact where David asked me. It was like here. I said, I don't know, David. It's like in the middle of nowhere here. I said, let it go down, break the low of the day, and that should be where we can have some premium to do it. Broke down there, flat line, crushing those premiums. All right, everything else, just going to be the same here, running in place, doing nothing here. Bitcoin, I think, was up a little while. Now it's just flat, running in place, doing nothing here. Oil, the oil stocks popped up yesterday. They kind of gave a little bit more back than, but they should continue to hold up reasonably well. And silver down again, kind of flattish, and gold doing nothing. And it's just consolidating the move down, and it's only going to have so much time. And I think if after whatever the talking heads have to say today, and this thing doesn't pop up, there's a time limit to where buyers are willing to accumulate a certain level and then blink. So we'll see how it unfolds. Transports yesterday, same stuff. Things come down to support. It's still holding its uptrend, deep retracement, but hanging out there. Rob's asking, for anyone not doing SPX trades, do you really missing out on making money? I'm currently on a big project and will be signing up for the green room as soon. Are you really missing out? Well, if the recommendation is this and it makes money and you don't do it, you miss money. You miss the risk too, But the thing is, the way we do it, Rob, I mean, I should track this day to day, but I just know from just day to day, it's like nothing hitting the strikes we're picking. So, things kind of move fast sometimes, and that's a little nerve jitteries, but the whole thing is about assessing the premium and the technicals and the gamma and open interest and all that. So there's a method to the madness. You can easily take 900 risk and make 100. Well, it's not related to me, Rob. That's the nature of a credit spread. So anybody that you would tell the method of a credit spread and what's involved, they'd say, are you out of your effing mind? Who the hell is going to do that based on the reward to risk? Well, you better manage them like, I would say, like a Babe Ruth, right? Well, you better have a better batting average, to make his batting average look ridiculous like a bum, because you get on the wrong side of it, you're going home on a stretcher. But hey, every vehicle has its nuances. You want to trade IBM versus Apple Computer, there's going to be differences in how they trade. You could say they're both tech stocks, right, in different ways. Or you want to trade NVIDIA versus KLAC, so there are certain nuances to how things trade, but the foundation of what you look at is the same. That's it for me, Dan. I'm, not much to say here because there's really nothing happening of significance. I usually jab along a little longer than this. Maybe Dan's still getting his coffee. I don't know.
Jab longer.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about jabbing, do you remember that little thing on the internet that like told stories? It was called Jib Jab.
That was hilarious. They're probably still around. They used to do these political things, man. That was so funny.
All right.
You reminded me. I got to go look at it because they were really talented in the stuff they did.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, we only have 2 open positions in the weekly, and we're light. We're light in the advisory, a couple longs, a couple of shorts. All the shorts are good. BBBY. We're getting a nice gap up here. I guess they got alone, we're short 7.5s, which looked horrible yesterday on the morning breakdown. And I was saying that the premiums were so high that that there probably was some pending news, and I guess I was right. Maybe the news was, yeah, they're going to get a decision on funding here any day now, but we got the benefit of that one. We did an earnings trade yesterday that's against us, JWN. This is a nasty gap. You would think that the 20s would be totally fine, way the heck down here at the bottom of the range. We still went further and did the 18.5s. So right now it's 19.5. So we still have $1 cushion, but I'm going to be looking to get out of this thing. I'll be happy with break even. Let me actually text that right now to put an order in. All right. Prayer Kid, thoughts on NVIDIA? NVIDIA, it's down a couple bars on support. It's gapping down under 15-minute resistance. So it's not a great setup for anything. You don't have a good price for it. Now, when we do continuation patterns, compare that one to Starbucks. This one's also down a couple bars on support, but we have a continuation bar with a big price void. So see the difference of those two patterns? So Starbucks is on my short continuation list, maybe 30-minute low if the market can't rally. MS Thomas, yeah, that's a little similar. It's in a stronger uptrend. It's on the 20, so it's a little bit similar to Starbucks. It's a watch. We also, let's start up here with earnings. Intuit, I was going to give as a naked put the 380s yesterday. And I really wanted to try to get the 360s, but there wasn't enough juice. But I know David and some others did take it, so that's paying off for them. AAP gapping down. I have this as a, put in a window. I have this as a, just a big gap down. Well, now it's under the 50 MA. And let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. These auto parts stores fundamentally have been doing pretty good ever since Corona. That's a buy setup. That's a buy setup. That could bounce yesterday's high, sure. All right, a couple of these I just saw going by the ticker. SQM, there's juice at the 85s. We can sell the 85 put spread. Here, I mentioned a Greg pre-market. I actually even went to see if there's any economic numbers at 8 o'clock. But, this was a breakdown and things just started ripping at 8 a.m. for some reason. Now we're retracing a bit. But let's say hypothetically we open the day up here. Then this would have been a no-brainer, day trade long based on pre-market data. Right now I have, premiums juice. I think it came from one of those sports shows, maybe Tom Cruise. Wasn't it Tom Cruise in one of those sports movies where he's a sports agent? He's like, show me the juice. So, money for his client. And that's how I feel whenever we find a pattern. It's like, all right, show me the juice. So how much are you going to pay me for selling these options? All right, TRQ, I don't know what's up with this. This is not what we call a double bottom. Just because of the configuration, we want a W, but it's a very bullish retest. And I don't know what's going on with it, but it's up here now at 28.50. That I don't know what's going on with it. But that's a put spread idea. Peton, the news said they're going to start selling on Amazon. They have earnings tomorrow after the bell. This is a buy setup. It's a deep retracement, but it's a buy setup. Similar to this, Riven. I posted this. It's a buy setup, but with a very deep retracement. But if it can get over yesterday's high, which is still very far away, then that will be a put spread for Friday idea. I don't know why I was looking at tree, but I mean, I remember, look at this nasty weekly chart. There is no signs of reversal yet, but now it's a climactic. So for a short-term trade over a prior bar's high, might give us a 1 to 2 day bounce. Sun, it's sloppy. It's sloppy to me, grimy. You know, look at these bars just bobbling around. But oil looks kind of neutral pre-market here. Drug, I just saw going by the ticker. Look at this wild ride. That, for those of you who went to Disney World when it first opened, this is like Mr. Toad's wild ride here. Sophie, look at this. That was a very bullish 1, 2, 3 that completely failed. Gapping up a bit. I don't know. It could set up as a day trade. Getty. It's a big mess to me. Getty. That's one Getty. I remember selling $15 puts on this thing. And I was asking the green room, was it a real company? I liked asking that when I sell puts, because then that's just a plus. I'm like, hey, McGraw, is this a real company? These three were earnings here too. It's kind of a bull. Hey, David, if you're here, we were talking about bull flags yesterday. This is a bull flag. Look, flagpole, counter trend, channel retracement. That's a bull flag right there. Now it's gapping up, so that's a good one. I got GWN on the other computer, so let's put this here. But yeah, this is a nice one. 30-minute high, maybe 10, 15-minute high. I don't know. PYCR. I just want to make sure it's not a bio. All right, app technology software. All right, good. BRCC. It has to get over all those highs, and then it's fine. Then it's fine. I don't call that a base myself. I call that bullish consolidation in the upper part of this WRB. But yeah, I like the weekly. So yeah, I'm gonna set an alarm with you. BRCC, just eyeballing it, 1030. Q's new low here, Diamond's new low. All right, so we're still weak. Oh, I heard some bad news about Powell. Maria Bartiromo said he's not going to be talking until after the market on Friday. So that stinks. I was hoping to get some rock and roll action before we went home Friday. So that stinks. I mean, that's like a mini Fed announcement, in my opinion, because it's the very most current views of the Fed. But you know, nothing I can do to change it. All right, this is opening flat. There's no volume. You're gone. SCSC. we'll come back to you. Starbucks, I mentioned. Zoom. Zoom, here's another example. We actually were short the 78 puts into earnings. Gapped way against us, and we still got out at a profit yesterday. So when we do these put trades, I mean, the simple one statement goal is even a gap against us, we hope that the volatility crush outweighs it. And we've been doing pretty darn good so far. All right, BBBY we talked about. You know, if the premiums are still jacked on this, then this is a nice gap to add to our naked puts. That's a nice gap over 2 bars highs, it looks like. Well, we were watching cat and deer, you know, a little breakdown failure. It can go sideways up here another day or so. Look at deer, negated the gap down on earnings. Varu, sloppy buy setup. All right, these were earnings before the bell. You know, that could bounce 140, 160. That could be a good day trade. Or swing. Let's watch it. This is a bottoming pattern. Look at all the flat MAs. Closing breakout. Gapping up to 341 though, which kind of would be my target. So that's the problem there. C turn 27 bucks. There's no pattern. 27.70. No pattern right now. DY, this was one I did give. Greg, the 85 puts, we were trying to get 70 cents yesterday into earnings, but they were 60 by 80, and I was trying to get 70, and then all of a sudden the bid just dropped to 0. But that was a good pattern to do it. Wolf, the dog food store, gapping down. Short-term bearish. IIBI gapping up 58. All right, there's another good gapper. That's a good gapper, IIPI. I'm going to put that in a window. It's a nice gapper. It's not gapping too much. Target 50 MA. That looks really good. Royal Bank of whatever, Canada. Gap in the 95 looks lower, and these were earnings after the bell last night. I can't tell where you're gapping. And we already looked at that one. Cal. If it can negate yesterday's bar and break out, then I like it. I'm going to set an alarm at 31. EOG low alarm just went off. All right, Cal alarm 31. Let's see what I got filled on. I like bells at the open because those are targets. Oh, I was in hood. I had sold. That's a covered call. That's what that order was. Lazy boy. That's a big gap. I'm not going to chase it, but that's a strong uptrend. Look at every attempt to go lower failed. So that's still bullish. See Zoom new low. Urban, no pattern. JWN, that's the one against us. I'm watching it. PYCR, I said, is bullish. Let's watch it on a pullback. And let me check the juice right now. Riven alarm. It hasn't triggered, but it's still just an alarm. All right, JWN, let me see where we're at. All right,